Dang it. What's up, MSFers? It's Monday and we're back at it. We're doing a double feature of Defense Up recording today. We're going to start with FaZe's defense because I believe they're already here in chat. And so we're going to jump into that one. I'm already in the content creator voice channel for whoever wants to get in there with me. And we'll start in on that one. And then whenever Beta the Ray Bill shows up, we'll go over his defense, which is more diamonds than defense. I think, honestly, it's huge. It's like the biggest I've ever seen. So we'll do that today. And otherwise, we're going to talk about a kind of a boring weekend for Marvel Strike Force. Not a lot going on. I didn't even bother doing the recap this morning because there wasn't anything anybody needed to know. We're just waiting for the events to start tomorrow. So yeah, Penny's out and there's some characters that are farmable now. That happened over the weekend, and otherwise it wasn't anything going on. So let's switch over to MSF, where I can click on some red dots, and as always, I'll pull the music down to regular levels. We just like to come in hot at the beginning of stream, that's all. What's up, Anti-Valor? What's up, Lord Richter? What's up, Vral? What's up, Casey Wymie? What's up, Herb? What's up, FaZe? What's up, TLC? What's up, Red Robot? How's everybody doing today? FaZe, if you want to, head over to the voice lobby in my Discord server, and as soon as the guys start showing up, I'll drag you into the content creator channel, and we can talk about your defense and see where you're at. Kiln in 2 days, yes, Castle. I don't know how excited I am for Kiln this time around. I was disappointed that they just tacked on 6 floors at the top. And they require the newest characters, which makes me worry that we're gonna have to build the newest characters really, really big for them to work. Because if basically up to floor 40, if you had what you needed to get through there, which was basically Super Scroll, if you had Super Scroll and like a few others like Titania or something, you could get through. But if you didn't have Super Scroll, you couldn't really do it. Now, the required characters are new characters to the game. I don't think they're gonna let us get through those floors with like a 3x3 Penny Parker. By the way, Penny Parker doesn't even become available until 2 days into Kiln. So I'm guessing there's going to be spending restrictions, and if you don't buy these tunes big, you're gonna have trouble getting through the floors. That's my guess, because I just don't see them making it so that everybody who got through 40 last time can get through 46 this time. I don't think that's gonna be the case. The idea is that they add more to it and make it tougher. So I figured they would put the newer characters sprinkled throughout the floor, like somewhere in the middle, so we could use them at free-to-play unlock levels and maybe get through with a struggle. And then hopefully have like the final floors be something completely different. You know, like just a variety of things that requires you to use big stuff in new ways, you know? Like a Super Scroll or something. They didn't do that though. Let's see what's everybody saying here. Will Run finally take #1 in Arena? Stay tuned. No, Lord Richter, I got knocked down after last night. After smashing my head against your defense several times, I got knocked down to 11. I'm trying to climb my way back up. Not been anything going on for a while. MSF is kind of stale. FaZe, I do see you in the voice lobby, buddy. I'll drag you in as soon as we get started. Kiln in 2 days. New raids just started, so you can do those red dots, yeah. I think I'm in Updog CC bracket this week. I'm going up against Rolf Karen and he's in my bracket. Or I'm in his, I don't know. What's up, strategist? I'd be happier if they just let us carry on from last time. Yeah, that's the way Tower's always been. They don't change much. They just add a few more. I just don't like how the last top floors required you to have the big bad unlocked, right? Why not make, I mean, I'd be okay. It's a little early, but I'd be okay if they made the final floor, you need Mephisto. Like there'd be like 3 people that could do it. Okay, that's fine. I'm just not there yet. Or make it really, really, really hard without Mephisto, but like you could reset like 1,000 times and maybe get through it. I don't know. But don't use the newest stuff. Obviously, you're gonna force us to build big for that. Obviously, like, I would be so surprised if people with a freshly unlocked Spider Society get through those top floors. I'll be blown away if that's the case. I don't think that's gonna happen. What's up, Zoboy? Gotta join the stream battle if we get paired up. Okay. Sounds good. We'll do it. Let's try this one here. What is this? The Morgan Le Fay one? I don't remember what beats this. I'm gonna try my Kang defense. I think the Kang defense can beat it. I don't remember. They needed a way to monetize Kiln. They never really figured out how to monetize Pocket Dimension, and where are those now? Yeah, that's true. That might be it, Steven. You might be right. This is how Kiln stays in the process. They're always going to tack on new floors with the newest stuff. So the next time around, I'll be able to get through, but I won't get through the newest levels because it'll require XYZ tunes instead. I'm gonna try and put the ability block on the Silver Surfer so he doesn't clump me and flip my taunt. Plus, he got to shake off the stun because he had immunity. That was nice. And then MLF doesn't like spread everything or whatever she does. Okay, I kind of think I should go for the heal here. I think I'm gonna go for the heal here and put the ability block on their Apocalypse. I'm gonna die. Oh, that was the wrong move to make. I don't know if this team is just too big or if I'm using the wrong counter, but this is not going very well. I don't think I can do anything about this. Let's try their Apocalypse, see if I get lucky here. Oh my goodness. What is happening here? Holy crap! We don't need no stinking APOC! Look at that! All right, what's up, Duelam? Hey, I'm already in the channel, buddy. And so's FaZe. FaZe is waiting in the lobby. So we're gonna jump into it real quick. There's Lord Richter's defense with Lizard. Oh, look at that. Somebody else is adopting Lizard too. The right hand, huh? This Lizard, one, it creates a secondary taunt that people might go for. I didn't fall for it and I didn't go for it. But two, he does an opening move that just tenderizes your team. And this just blows it up, this defense. Lord Richter, since you're here, I'm going to show you what I've been using, which is the Kang defense, and I'll show you how close it comes to beating it, but not quite. And I haven't tried the comp you told me about. So here he goes. Smacks me around, has the taunt immunity, which didn't last very well. And then I don't bother flipping it. I still go after Black Knight and clump him around Black Knight. And then hopefully my Kang will allow my Robbie to go first, then I can block their Void Knight from doing anything. Yeah, here we go. We'll block their Void Knight. See if this works well enough. And then if my Apocalypse goes first, I will ability block their Apocalypse, just like the same way we did the last matchup, basically. But you see how my team's getting smacked around just a little bit more, and it's because that Lizard came in with that opening hit that was a little bit tougher. There's a little bit of health that goes past heal blocks. Don't even know why we have heal block in the game anymore. Everybody has bypass heal block these days. Okay, I'm gonna put... I'm gonna try this on the Super Scroll and see what happens. Got the ability block on their Super Scroll with the trauma. So he's gonna take out my Black Knight and punish the rest of my team just like that. Oof. Oof, man. Okay, let's go here and see what happens. Oh, Lord Richter, I think I'm gonna beat it this time. I think I'm gonna beat it this time. Oh, that's right, Lord Richter. RNG fell my way that time. That's the first time I've been able to make that one work. So that was cool. But did you see, like, when your Black Knight retaliated against my Apocalypse that very last time, he's been killing my Apocalypse, and then the match falls to you. And so that's the first time it works, and I think it's just because I slipped by. That was it. That's all it was. I don't know. This is what I've got on defense right here. It's nothing special. That'll take you all of 6 seconds to get through because I don't have anything. I don't have anything cutting edge or new or amazing. I've been putting Void Knight where your Kang is so that if he dies, Sus's chain basic stops at Black Knight. That's not a bad idea, Castles. I should do that. Morning, random hero. Waiting for some of the other content creators to show up so we can jump into defense up. We're starting a little bit early today because we're doing 2 of them. We've got FaZe waiting in the lobby. And whenever Beta Ray Bill stops by, we'll do his. Let me click some of these red dots so I don't get the itch. Just don't start jonesing to spend energy. BK Sus APOC GGC Vol has been my Shard's main meta. Yeah. I've been using the 3-piece superior, well, Sinister 6, I guess, because it's got Vulture, GGC, and Craven, plus Apocalypse and Black Knight. I've been using that on offense for some things, but the Kang offense seems to be working the best on the most things. So my goal is to just stick with the offense that's the laziest and I don't have to switch back and forth from it and then leapfrog over whoever it doesn't work on. LOL, I take number 1 back here in a moment and I will swap out Void for Hela. Oh, yeah, that'll be fun. There's Rolf Kieran in my bracket there. Hoping we get matched up. That'll be fun. I might check my defense too while we go over this stuff. Guess I got new raids. I should get in there and get those done too. So I've been rethinking Spotlight raids. I've been rethinking them. And obviously their announcement was fumbled the way that they approached it. But I do believe that if we put our expectations into proper alignment, I think that the Spotlight raids make a lot of sense and are gonna be just fine. I think we need to stop thinking of them as a new raid and start thinking of them as showcase adjacent. Because I do believe that this is going to be the new team raid. And whatever teams we get, they're gonna take a rotation through the Spotlight raids. And that's just how it is. So you'll just get to use them in raids and the raid will be built around that team. I don't know. I don't know if the raid's gonna be different every time a new team comes around, but it kind of makes sense. And frankly, I'm tired of the Greek raids. We were all simming it. Most of us were simming it all the way through every different Greek raid. It was boring. How dare we have to build a new team? And I think that's what they're going to do. Instead of making a team required for a legendary unlock, they're just going to put them through the Spotlight raids, ensuring that every single team that comes to the game is built to a minimum level. Now, our goal as content creators is going to be figuring out what that minimum level is that you guys can build your teams to go through those raids with the least amount of investment in that team. Rolf Kieran coming in with a hot raid. We were just talking about you, Rolf Kieran, being in my shard there for Cosmic Crucible. Looking forward to fighting you. Thank you for the raid, my friend. So I think spotlight raids are a good thing. I think we're just looking at them the wrong way. This is not going to be a new super duper cool raid. It's going to just be a thing that we have to build for every single time. It ensures that every single character that comes to Marvel Strike Force is something that you don't completely skip, but have to build to a certain level. I'm hoping Scopely will allow us to build them to something like an entire gear color under what we need to be, what is currently have access for. So we currently have Crimson gear, the very first level of Crimson gear. I'm hoping that this new team would only have to be built to the very first level of Teal gear. And you could get through those raids without investing any more gear or gold. So it'd be something like, I don't know, what's the first level of Teal gear is like 75? Or maybe it's 80, I'm not sure. Let's say level 80, gear tier 16 or 17, whatever the first Teal gear is, I can't even remember. And that's where you build that team, and you should be able to get through. I'm hoping that's where they like polish those nodes out to function. And then it'd be like, okay, it's not super expensive, it's kind of spendy, but instead of spending like 25 million to max the character out for a new raid, we're spending something like 15 million, maybe even 12 million gold total, and we're not utilizing resources that are super duper dependent on other characters. That's my hopes. Basically, I'm saying set your standards really, 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 really low, and spotlight raids are kind of cool. Did you see the TCP of the biggest player in our bracket? No, I didn't. Don't keep me in suspense, Rolf Karen. We don't need the highest level of investment if you don't do the highest difficulty. That's true, but I want to do the highest difficulty, right? Who wants to shoot for second place? Like, no one aims for second place. You always are trying to do the best. But what's the minimum investment you can do to get through there? Just more wallet farming. You are insane to think it's a good thing. There are positives to the spotlight raid if you think about the structure of the game as a whole and how it integrates into Marvel Strike Force. Because this means we may not have to ever build new teams for legendaries again. They might start using old meta stuff to go into unlocking legendaries with a wider variety of teams for us to use to unlock legendaries, because we already have to build a team for a reoccurring new character raid. And that just becomes the standard and the minimum for every single character. There's no more shelving, there's no more skipping. Every single character that comes out, if you want to compete in those raids, you are simply going to have to build them to that 80% build marker, whatever those raids are tuned for. So you were thinking next time it will be Alpha Flight in the first few nodes, then whatever team is next and Spider Society goes? Yes, exactly, Vrawl. You'll still get Alpha Flight for another round, but the next new team will come in at the far end of those raids. And they'll always come in on the far end too, so that you can work your way into the nodes, and those of us who don't buy the characters to unlock can work with our teammates who do. You also need to do it at least 3 stars. Why would I have to do it at least 3 stars? Is there a 3-star minimum on that raid? I don't know. Most characters unlock at 3 stars anyways. I'm not too worried about that. If it was a 3-star minimum for going in there, it just means, I mean, like, I have Peter B. Parker to 4 stars. I didn't spend anything on him. It's not, they're allowing us to unlock these characters at 3 stars anymore. Three stars G16 would be okay. Like, yeah, if that would be great. If we could get through the spotlight raid at 3 stars G16, level whatever is G16, I forget, I would be okay with it. Once you start getting into G17, especially G18, the gold to get to that level, plus the teal gear, the uniques, it's just too much. You should see it before you match up with him. Okay, I'll go take a look at that, Rolf Kieran. Having a great day, Dadpool. Thanks. Get in here, click these real fast. Are there seriously no content creators going to join us for Defense Up today? that's the case, so be it. I'll do it on my own. Got my NC from 6 red star today, 2 diamonds today, nearly a 200K jump. That's fantastic when you get that last red star and it allows you to go to the diamonds that you like pulled on a roll. I just took my bullseye to 2 diamonds today. I'm super excited about that. I'm almost embarrassed when that happens. Like that pops up in game and you're like, man, I hope my alliance doesn't think I did that intentionally, right? Right? You ever get that feeling? I still can't bring myself to work on my 3 diamond Korath. Bullseye rework confirmed. We keep saying it, man. We keep saying it. Yeah, we'll put a stun on her. Why not? Nope, we won't, because it's Beta Ray. He doesn't stick anything. Not mine. Mine never sticks anything. Let's put this here. I don't know why she doesn't have an exposed already. I've been hitting her enough times. I should have double tapped into that by now. I always cringe a little seeing some of the characters my alliance mates are getting up and T4ing. Yeah, when you see somebody T4 something old, you're like, oh man, please don't do that. You're only hurting your alliance by investing in garbage. I mean, it's one thing if they're like your resident Kraken and they're you know, way ahead on everything. You know, if they're the lead or the front runner in the alliance, go ahead, play with what you want. But when they're one of the low people in the bracket and you see them T4 like Magneto's daughter or something, and you're like, ooh, really don't need to be working on X Factor right now. Buddy of mine sent me a pic of someone just now taking Vol to G16. What's wrong with taking Vol to G16? Yeah, we'll do this. Doolam, are you driving to work or something, buddy? I'm surprised you're not already in the content creator channel. Oh, I thought maybe they were like kind of a newer player. They just were trying to get through without building any of the Bifrost. Well, the rest of the Bifrost team, that's fine. We've seen Benny Westside go with Vol and nobody else, making it work. Let's do this and get rid of the big time. We got a couple of people in my alliance, G18 Ultimus. Yeah, sometimes people like to G18 Ultimus just for the funsies, I guess. Man, that seems like such a big waste. I don't care how bored I am in Marvel Strike Force. I can't waste upgrading a tune that's that bad. Ultimus is probably the #1 character in need of a rework. Oh, let's go on basic here. A 3 diamond Ultimus? Ugh. If you want to have fun, make Ultimus your profile pic. Don't G18 him. Yeah, sound advice, Steven. That's the right way to play with Ultimus. Use his profile pic. That's it. You all forget for the one-time low diamond payment, he never shows up again. Oh, if you get him to 3 diamonds, then it just opens up that slot and you never have him rotate through again. Yeah, one-time low payment. Hey, when we go over Beta the Ray Bills defense, you guys are gonna see some diamonds, okay? You guys are gonna see some diamonds on that one. You want a token that grants us an out-of-meta character like G18 level 95? I don't know what use that would be. I mean, if they called it the funsies token, and so everybody knew, hey, this is kind of a useless thing. This is about as useful as a costume on Spider-Weaver. Like, it's not gonna change anything, but you'll have it in your roster. Then, okay, I guess. Sure, why not? Just so people can get their favorite character a decent power without wasting resources. Oh, so like you would get the token and you could apply it on any character that wasn't meta. That might be okay. That might be kind of fun too. People would find a way to utilize characters that weren't meta to get them back into the meta. That'd be interesting, I think. Anyone that wasn't released or updated X months ago. Why is my team going so slow? Come on, we're dying here. We're not looking very good. Oh, that's right, it's Bifrost. They always look like shit. Let's put this over here on Peggy. Let's hit auto because I'm in a hurry. I want to get to this defense up recording. Spider Society, the Weaver with Weaver, a good idea for war defense until we get Penny. I typically use a Weaver team on offense for Hive Mind and Noir for the Eternals Doom Juicy special against Superior 6. Well, from what I understand, that no matter what you do with Spider Society on defense, there are multiple options that beat them because of the way the order of operations works. When they're on offense, they kick the shit out of everything, but when they're on defense, things don't work the way you'd expect them to. I need Vol to do her big thing. And I'm trying not to run out of time either. Come on.
Hey, bud.
Hey. Here it is. Let's go on. Yeah, we'll do it here. Kill them all. Here we go. And bring back Sylvie. Okay, good. I need to adjust my music. My music in my ears. All right, I'm gonna bring in FaZe. What's up, FaZe? Bringing you into the conversation. We're gonna switch over and do your defensive recording. So to start off, your 20 million TCP, where are you operating in Crucible?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, perfect. Right, so I'm in Gold 2 at the moment.
Okay. Along with 97% of the player base, from what I hear.
Yes. And I usually see, I think on average, maybe 40 mil TCPs in my bracket.
And how come you're only 20 mil then? Is it because you're doing good? Because you're a return player?
Well, I only started in March last year, so I've been playing just over a year.
And do you spend a little? Did you buy one of those time heist bundles or anything like that?
No, not at all. I've completely FTP'd.
Excellent. Excellent. That makes it easier to understand the roster. Okay, so Doolam in the chat, I have, in the actual text chat of our voice chat right now, I have a list of his offensive characters that you can take a look at if you're interested. Mm-hmm. They consist of, for chat's audible pleasure here, they consist of the new warriors, the Masters of Evil, Cabal. He's got Bifrost on offense, Death Seed on offense, Superior 6, it looks like Secret Defenders, Quicksilver, and Hive Mind. Those are 8 really decent, very good offensive teams. Well, Death Seed's probably not that useful anymore. And then let's go check out what he's got on defense real quick. Looks like Extreme with Dormammu. And, whoops, I don't have that. There, and then we have Pegasus in 2. We've got the Unlimited with Rogue. in 3, just a straight unlimited team. Darkhold with Doom in 4. We've got the Spider Weaver with Emma and the Eternals. That's an expensive team to be putting on defense. We'll come back to it. And then number 6 is a Gamma with Black Knight. So the ones right off the bat that are bothering me right out of the gate is probably Gamma with Black Knight in 6. I'm not sure that this is a great idea right here. I feel like this is pretty easily counterable and awfully useful on offense, but maybe still the best choice. And then Darkhold is fine, I guess. I don't know if 4 is the place for them, but it's not a bad choice. The others all look real standard, right?
Mm-hmm. So the thing with room 5 is, I took my Bifrost off defense so that I can counter Pegasus if needs be in room 2.
Right.
And I stuck this in just at the beginning of the season, and it's been quite surprising. So we've had 2 weeks of the season so far, right?
Right.
And this has pulled 4 wins for me.
Really? Well, if it's working, let's not fix it. And if how are you doing with the offensive teams you have? Are you struggling at all?
So I tend to go against maybe 1 to 1.5 million defense teams, and the way my setup is structured is that I have all the heavy hitters on offense, as you can probably tell.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to go for one-shots on every room, and I usually do, and I normally only drop 1 attack maybe, if I do.
Okay. What room number do you normally have trouble with, or is it not really a room rules that's bothering you? It's a specific team.
Well, I just got 7 red APOC last week, so before then, Black Knight was giving me a lot of trouble.
Okay. Yeah, the big boy APOC makes a huge difference when going into those Black Knights.
Yeah, and because you can see my teams are like G15, so the Black Knight was just one-shotting people straight off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Are you having trouble with your hive mind on offense with them being so small? Because I know I built mine, like I maxed mine out 100 G18 across the board, just so that I could do the things I needed to do in Crucible. Mm-hmm. It was a little brutal. Sometimes they just get mollywopped going up against some of the bigger diamond-filled rosters that I go against. Is your hive mind big enough for where you're at in Gold 2?
So, I don't... The Bifrost and Hive Mind are kind of just backups or cleanup teams for me.
Okay.
The first 6, I use them. Those are per room. Like, so New Warriors is room 1 and Secret Defenders is room 6. So that's where I plan to use the teams if possible. Mm-hmm. But obviously it depends what they have in there.
Okay. Well, there's your 6 plus 2 cleanups, I guess. If it's working, it's working. I like that. So, all right, let's go back here to this and see what we got going on. Okay, you've got Forge as a raider. That's great. He can't be controlled. You've got Skirmisher on your spot. I guess that's pretty good. Yeah, trying to get extra charges onto Cyclops isn't really that important. I've always felt the Cyclops just kind of stands there and makes noise. So I think leaving him as a skirmisher is probably good in the event that he lands that ability block or flips the positive effect. So that's probably good. Your Dormammu could, well, let's see. If he's skirmisher in this room, what's he doing?
Well, I actually have him at Striker Blue ISO 5, but I set him to the Skirmisher just for this, because I was hoping that even in the event that he does get ability block, he can put out with his basic, he can put out a 5-man ability block.
Yeah.
So.
Plus, doesn't he get speed when he's ability blocked anyway? Like, does he get like 80% turn meter when he's ability blocked?
That's Dormammu.
I think when he basics when he has ability block.
That's Dormammu. If he basics when he has ability block, he gets 80% turn meter.
Yeah, so that's Dormammu.
Yep.
Okay, so it's fine if he gets ability blocked. He's just going to be going faster. All right, Skirmisher's fine. If you can spare the blue ISO to put him to blue ISO 3, it's probably going to be helpful. Yeah, Juicy agrees the ISOs are fine. I think they're fine also. No one's getting controlled except for the people you don't really care if they get controlled. Because, like, if Spot gets ability blocked, he's just doing his basic and he's adding charges for Cyclops anyways, so I don't think it's a big... Not to mention, I think they do something as a scrim. I never remember because I've run Raider. But I'm okay with this.
Skirmisher applies ability block if they hit them.
Skirmisher applies the ability block to anybody they hit, not just the primary target, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so we're good with these ISOs. I think the team's fine. I do like that Dormammu's really big. Over here in room 2, the Pegasus team. Now, I'm thinking that Pegasus might be coming off of defense. What do you think, Dulam? What have you been seeing with the Pegasus in room 2?
Pegasus works great, especially if you don't have enough to put tunes other places. Like if you don't have enough to just do extreme in here, then Pegasus is your best bet, because then most people are running an extreme hybrid in 1 and 3. So if your roster is not big enough to be able to pull that off, then Pegasus is probably your best bet here.
Oh, that's the only reason we'd want to take Pegasus off, is with an extreme hybrid? Okay. Yeah, his Pegasus is looking pretty good. Again, these are all small. He's 20 million TCP, man, in gold 2. So that's why we're dealing with this size team. And I don't know, I'm seeing pretty decent investment. Like in room 1, I'd like to see Nightcrawler invested in even more. He's in the lead, right? But I'd like to see him in the teal gear. Forge wouldn't hurt either, so that Forge doesn't get killed so soon. And then Pegasus is fine. Should we put Kestrel next to next to Tony? Because then she's big enough, she'll tank all the splash damage coming off of him when he's taunting.
That's fine.
Maybe just the placement change there. I like her as a Raider. I like him as a Raider. I guess it's fine making her a healer. It's not really going to change anything. Skirmisher on Riri is probably a good idea, so she lands those stuns. I guess Tony as a striker's fine. Yeah, Tony as a striker's fine. He's going to add some more defense down with his striker attack. So not bad. That's all right. Just a placement swap in 2 is probably what we'll do. And then we have the Unlimited in 3 with Rogue. I'd rather have Rogue in a corner than in the back there. I'd rather have her off to one side. Yeah, let's swap places with Rogue and Phantom X.
All right.
And then, is there anything we can swap out Firestorm for? Fire Chicken, whatever his name is? Sunfire? Is there anything we can change Sunfire out with better?
You can throw a Phoenix in there if you want. Phoenix does things.
How big is your Phoenix face?
I believe my Phoenix is like level 25.
As she should be for you. As she should be. That's not a bad thing at all.
We'll skip it.
I have a G16 Quicksilver, but I use him on offense, but I don't really need to.
Yeah. I don't think it's... I think I'd rather have him for offense in the case that you need him there. I don't think he's going to change this too much.
All right. This is the room that does the worst for me, I feel. It's just... I don't think it's got to win this season. Or even last season.
Yeah, could we move this team out of here and find something better for the aggroed room?
I mean, the only thing that's really halfway decent in the aggroed room is going to be like a Quicksilver Noir, just so Noir takes a bunch of turns, give Quicksilver his passive, and that's pretty much it. But again, I'm assuming his Noir is not built at all.
It's... my Noir's at 75, I think, G14.
So, not a terrible idea. You could do like 3 X-Men and then like a Noir Quicksilver.
So maybe drop Dazzler and Sunfire, or drop Phantom X and Sunfire and replace him with Quicksilver Noir.
Probably Phantom X and Sunfire.
And the G16 Quicksilver and the G14 Noir would be better than the G17s.
Yeah, because Noir's going to go first, and he's going to have offense up, and then... Or no, he's going to go first, and then hopefully give offense up to Quicksilver, who will take turns with offense up, and everybody will Wait, how's it
He can
work?
either he can give offense up. So Quicksilver with his passive, he can give any one buff anytime his ally takes a turn. So every time Noir takes a turn, which is usually a bunch because of his passive, he's going to give Quicksilver a possibility of like offense up, defense up, speed up, deflect, all this stuff. So if he gets an offense up, he's going to start assisting. If he gets a speed up, he's going to change the entire turn order of everything and really mess with things.
Okay.
Whereas
so these two are going to be a known factor, or these two on the outside are going to be a known factor. All right, let's try that. If you don't absolutely need Quicksilver for that Secret Defenders team, let's try dropping him from that offense team, bringing him over here, and adding in Quicksilver and Noir. Noir should be a skirmisher then to plant a vulnerable and make sure the blades land, right?
Raider too, that's fine.
Oh yeah, Raider would work too. Yeah, we could go create damage for Raider. In fact, go Raider on Noir because he's going to be a Raider on his team.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. That's what I have to set is.
Okay, yeah, Raider Noir, and then Quicksilver in here, and Quicksilver can be whatever you want him to be, whatever his ISO is. Okay, I like that. That'll spice this up a little bit more. Okay, then we have Unstable Energy, which is Doom and the Darkhold team. Now, Doom doesn't get to go first in Unstable Energy, right? Even unless he gets pushed.
No, he does. You're thinking of the old one.
Okay.
This one, villains have two less energy for their ultimates, so he ults turn one.
So he gets one energy and it's enough, and then he ults turn one. Okay, so it's an okay room to have him in. However, everybody knows he's gonna ult, and they're gonna want to stick an ability block on him to make sure that doesn't happen, or kill him outright. Now, where you're at, your Doom might be big enough that he doesn't just get killed outright. I would think maybe protecting him might be a good idea, but I don't know how to do that with Darkhold, because I don't want to drop any of the Darkhold members to protect Doom. So I kind of think this is about as good as it gets, except we do need to change placement, let's put Wong, what we want to have is Agatha to the outside with MLF adjacent to her.
Mm-hmm.
Then we could go Doom, Doctor Strange, and then Wong. Would that be Doom in the middle with Wong on the other side?
Yep, that'd be fine.
Does the RNG on the buff player of the Morgan Le Fay basic not improve it, or was that just wishful thinking?
Say that one more time.
So when Agatha does her assist mechanic, so someone adjacent to her assists, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
no, only when Agatha basics. When Agatha uses her basic, that's when she'll call an adjacent Darkhold member, not when Agatha does her little ping mechanic.
Right, yeah. So when that happens, does the RNG from like whether one clears debuffs or whether Morgan Le Fay basics not improve it, or?
You want Morgan Le Fay to be the one that's called, because Wong doesn't do a whole lot of damage with his basic, but he does clear a negative effect from team members. But Morgan Le Fay does a percentage health steal, and it's huge. It's a big damage assist. That's why you want Agatha to be to the outside and only call MLF each time. It's just way more impactful than the negative buff clear from Wong.
Okay, fair enough. So should I stick Doom next to Wong then?
I just don't know if you want Doom taking extra damage or if you don't want, like, if you can watch your replays and you see the people you're going up against are bigger and they're smashing your Doom and killing him outright, you'd want to keep him away from Wong. But if your Doom's big enough compared to who you're going up against that the splash damage is actually helping you get to the sweet spot, then you put him next to Wong. So it's kind of feel it out. It's really hard for me to tell. Like, I have a maxed out Doom. Sometimes he gets deleted. Sometimes he falls right in the sweet spot. Sometimes he never gets pushed. And I have to kind of be aware of what I'm competing against. Like, if I go into my Crucible matchups and see that I am the low man on the totem pole and everybody is way bigger than me in my Crucible for that round, I will like try and get Doom off of defense, only use him for offense, and really pay attention because I know that most of the time he's going to get deleted. If it's the other way around where I'm the big guy, then I kind of throw him out there and put him next to a tank because I know that he's bigger than most people's offensive abilities. I mean, that's just kind of a rough look at it, but you got to feel it out. I would say start them out in the middle so that it's Agatha, MLF, Doom, Strange, and then Wong. But if you don't want to, if you find that he's not getting pushed, then stick him next to Wong and hope that splash damage changes that.
Okay, I guess I'll have to watch some of the replays of Dark Hole.
Yeah, because whoever's adjacent to Wong, it doesn't really matter as long as they aren't getting killed from splash damage, you know, as long as it's beneficial. It's not like Wong's calling an assist or anything, so it doesn't matter. It can be Strange or Doom. Okay, so we'll do we'll do a placement change. I like the ISOs on the Team Raider there, Skirmisher on her. Skirmisher on Doom is okay. You could also make him a Raider, but then that's the other thing. In room 4, he's not bringing out any bots. This is room 4.
He will. He'll bring out bots. The thing is, he won't. So he'll bring out the bots, but if he does his ult and then specials, after he specials, the bots don't come out again. So that's kind of the issue.
Oh, is this the summon bug?
Yeah, it's a bug, yeah, because Hela has the same issue with it too. That might be a factor. But I mean, if he's still using the special and doing the damage, I thought I watched a Dorky Dad video just this morning where Dorky said that none of the bots came out at all. But
maybe. I've seen it both ways. I've seen some bots come out. I've seen no bots come out sometimes.
Fix your room, Scopely.
Yeah,
so that's a factor, and I guess I'll just mention that in the video that there are issues with room 4, and we're trying to get Scopely to fix their game. But once again, it's trying to like push water uphill. So that's an issue. And if not Doom, do we have a better replacement for Doom that isn't Scarlet Witch?
If you have an Omega Red's not the worst choice here because he's gonna ult turn 1. His ult's pretty good. People could forget about that.
Is only G13 at the moment. I'll probably take him up for Dark Dimension, but I'm not quite there yet.
Okay. I think that Omega Red is still a valuable character to be investing in. He just has an amazing ult, and if he ever gets reworked for better stats, he'll be right back up on top. He's got trauma, he's got ability block, he's got stuns, he's got huge damage AoEs, he has health steal. He's an all-around good legendary character, one of the better legendaries we've ever had. I think he's a good character to be investing in, and I think he is a good alternative choice in here with his ult popping off on turn 1. But for now, let's try Doom. Let's see how it goes, and just pay attention to it. There's Beta the Ray. Beta, we're gonna record this video and then get right to yours. All right. In room 5, we have something that I've never seen on defense before. FaZe says this is working, so we're not going to change it. I mean, if it's working, let's just leave it. You don't need it on your offense. It's been getting you lots of defensive victories, so we'll just roll with it for a while, which is kind of weird because we've seen this team. This is an old version of this team, and we know ways to beat it. You can mirror it with Hela and stuff like that, so it's not a huge one to overcome. So I'm interested in this.
I don't know what it is, if people just get confused or they haven't seen this team in a long time. But if you have a look at I just sent you 2 pics on your DMs.
Yeah.
And this is from this week. So those are the defensive victories this week on that room.
So you can see that's a 2022. Attempt bonus 400. So combat cancel coming into it with their own team in Noir. They're gonna lose the coin flip with Icarus and Cersei, even though Noir goes first. They're still gonna lose the coin flip. So I don't know what they were thinking there. That was a stupid decision. And then they came back in with Icarus, Cersei, Rogue, and APOC. I mean, that's, overkill to beat it. So that was really nice what happened there. And then over here, wow, they took Cabal into it? Cabal, Doom, Omega, and had to combat cancel?
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's pretty funny.
That's amazing. I'd have trouble making that fail.
The shocking part is this is just a new Warriors counter. Like that's it. It's just new Warriors beat this. That's it.
Then they came back in with Masters of Evil to beat it. If they came in straight off the rip with Masters of Evil and beat it, it would still be considered a win for you. because this is
Yeah.
not that good of a team. So I tell you what,
Yeah.
as long as you're getting victories, stick with it. We'll keep doing that. What's an alternative team, room 5 team? I don't even know what I've got.
Infinity Watch.
See, the thing is, I would have thought that the Cabal one was a mistake, like that the game crashed or something. But I also had 2 victories week 1, so it's just somehow working.
Yeah, Lord Richter's right. Your Emma's dying early, creating 2 islands, so that's useful also. So it's good placement. You have each pair on a different island, so that's pretty good. Alternatively, if you ever got around to building up Infinity Watch, you could throw them in here. That's another choice. But I like this. We're gonna go with it. And being it's working, I think it's definitely the way to go. Let's move on to number 6. This is the one I think we're gonna dismantle this team. I don't like this at all. The Gamma with Black Knight. How is this one performing for you?
Well, no one has tried taking New Warriors into it, and it's gotten 1 win in the past 2 weeks. That's it.
Okay. Wouldn't New Warriors still beat this?
Yeah.
Okay.
You need a decent Gwen though. Gwen needs to pull off the positive effects and stuff to be able to hit the Black Knight.
Okay, so she needs the high focus then, all right.
I was kind of hoping that the Black Knight would pull a taunt and for the Death Pool ultimate, but I don't know. I just didn't have anywhere else to really put him either. Or well, and then regular Gamma is just so easy to beat with straight New Warriors.
Yeah, but the thing is, a Black Knight, like Doolum says, it doesn't really change this matchup all that much. It adds a layer of RNG because of some resistance checks with him, but it's not a huge deal. The question is, what on your roster do we have that we could supplement, make it better in some way? How big's your Captain America?
Maybe G11?
Nope, no good.
No, G13.
Yeah, it's not good enough. He'd have to be in teal gear before you even consider it.
Yeah. I've been very sparse on my teal gear usage. Only Dark Dimension and APOC characters on teal at the moment.
What about the rest of your out of time team? Where are they at?
Apart from Black Knight, they're all low down.
Okay, well, maybe this might. Oh.
Sometimes you don't need to round out the wheel; it's already rounded.
Yeah. What about, okay, this hive mind is pretty small. What about adding Void Knight into room 6? Wouldn't that screw up the new Warriors counter?
No, New Warriors just still go.
They still go way before Void Knight?
Yep.
Well,
New Warriors gets what, 70% speed on spawn for the full team?
Okay, can we steal Dormammu out of room 1? Would that improve it?
Honestly, I feel like Dorm in room 1 is going to be one of his better rooms.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think there's anything we want to take apart here, is there?
I have a feeling that Dorm in room 1's been helping.
Unless we want to move the Black Knight to, I don't know, different room, maybe room 3. Because I do have Abomination obviously built for APOC.
No, let's stick with our idea of Quicksilver and Noir in room 3. Let's move Black Knight out of the off to a side though.
How often do you use SD on offense? I'm assuming every time.
Every time.
Yep, figured as much.
I don't have any way to improve this with his roster. He gave me a full roster pick here to place them. Warriors for offense. Gonna help. Scarlet Witch starts with her ult, so she doesn't even do her heal until turn 2. I see no other solution. keep Black Knight on offense and just go with a full Gamma, you know, it's kind of got a point. Richter's kind of got a point because New Warriors is going to beat this anyway. What if he needs, but he doesn't need Black Knight for offense is the thing.
If you're going to keep Black Knight for offense, then I'd say just switch full SD to defense in 6 and then keep Black Knight for offense.
Okay, if I put SD on defense, then what do I put on offense? Gamma?
It'd be
The Black Knight in 4 subpar tunes can create pretty much a full team.
Okay.
What are you saying, Doolin? You want him to put Black Knight into 4?
No, have Black Knight for offense if we're doing the Black Knight offensive option.
Oh, so it's Black Knight and 4 scrubs that will go into room 4 to help beat them.
Correct, to beat.
So you're having
else.
Black Knight replace his secret defenders for 6.
Mm-hmm.
FaZe, can you do that? You think you can handle? Because you said you use secret defenders every single time for offense, usually in room 6. If you had your secret defenders in room 6, it would be a much, much tougher defense than this.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking whether I would actually be able to clear with it. Because it would just be Black Knight and, I don't know, Bifrost or Hive Mind.
4 idiots, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be worth it.
I think we'll have to leave it. We're just going to do a placement swap on this. We'll go Skirmisher. Can we make Green Hulk something other than a healer, though? Make Green Hulk a striker and Red Hulk a raider would probably be better, I guess. I don't think it's really worth changing, actually. I don't think it's gonna change the outcome of this. I think it's still gonna get rolled by New Warriors, but for the video, I'll let people know that it's probably gonna be Skirmisher, striker, raider, then She-Hulk, and then Black Knight. And I think that's what we're gonna have to do. And then I'll talk about, you could swap it with the secret defenders and use your Black Knight for offense plus 4 scrubs to go into whatever people have in 4.
Okay, with the reduced health.
Yeah, but there's just not much we can do with this. Because I like the secret defenders in here better than this team, obviously. But I think that's gonna screw you on offense.
Yeah, secret defenders are treating you well on offense, then don't change it. You need secret defenders is a really good offense for you.
We're already pulling Quicksilver off of offense, so I think we've already pulled enough from offense. I don't want to tinker with it too much. All right, so let's go from the top. This is a great team. I'd like to build those ISOs up into the blue a little bit more and just invest in the areas of this team that it needs investing in. Basically, we'll talk about that. Otherwise, placement and what the ISOs are is great. Room number 2 is Pegasus. It's done well. It's done right. I'm fine with this. Yeah, this is fine. We'll do a placement swap with Kestrel and Dark Knight or Darkhawk so that she's next to Tony when he taunts and she can take the splash damage. She'll tank it really well. And then in 3, we're gonna drop Sunfire and Phantom X for Noir and Quicksilver, making it a little bit more RNG. Hopefully that'll help. In 4, we're going to
what would I do for the placement with Noir and Quicksilver?
Rogue in a corner, Gambit probably in another corner, Quicksilver can go in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah. Rogue in one corner, Gambit in the other, Quicksilver in the other, and then you'll have Dazzler and Noir in the back row. Probably the way to go. You could also do Gambit in the middle someplace. It doesn't matter, but you definitely want Rogue on one end because it's going to be Rogue, Gambit, and Quicksilver are going to be your hot targets. Noir's probably going to die pretty easy, even though he revives. You kind of want him in a back row, creating gap placement between your 3 main targets. All right, and then over here, let's go. We're going to change the placement up with this, and we're going to go Agatha, MLF, Doom, Strange, Wong, and we'll talk about however big your Doom is, whether you want him adjacent to Wong or out there getting splash damage. And then an alternative would be replacing Doom with Omega Red if you have him built up. I like the ISOs. The placement is the only thing that really needs adjusting. Room 5, this is something that's working for you, and we're not going to change it. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. I think that's going to be the theme for this, is that this is different and it's smaller, and not everybody should be doing this, but it's working for you where you're at, so we're going to keep it. And I like the place. We'll talk about placement and ISOs and everything, but everything works right here the way it's done. And then over here, this one, which we're just going to change the placement between She-Hulk and Black Knight. And we'll talk about swapping with Secret Defenders. But again, this is effective. You're clearing with your offense, and we don't want to dilute the offense anymore until this becomes a liability. When you start seeing new warriors come in here and cleanly beat this again and again and again, it's time to find something else. You're just going to have to bite the bullet and move that Secret Defenders to defense, I think.
I think what tends to happen is people just see the Black Knight and they immediately send in a big team. So even though it might not necessarily be a great room, it tends to pull a big team.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know, it's just if it's only getting the new warriors for that efficient kill, then you want to pull it. But if it's pulling a great big team, then fantastic. That's what we want, is to try and lure them in. But this isn't a very tough team to do. I think Pegasus still beats this, right? Pegasus kind of roll over this, even with Black Knight?
Probably. Yeah, probably the Kestrel ult turn 1 would take out a Black Knight pretty efficiently.
Yeah. DJ Donk, real big for your Echo to soak up a hit from a level 100 Nightcrawler in room 3.
Oh, like massive.
Yeah, real big.
Like way too big.
Bigger than you want to invest.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna jump out and then I'll come back in and we'll move on to betas. So I'll record the video. Hold on.
Another one.
You should have access to the content creator voice channel, and if not, just jump in the voice lobby and one of these guys will drag you in. Oh, I'll drag you in.
Another one.
There he is, another one. Somebody's got the soundboard working. All right, Beta, I gotta grab your pics and crop them up. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you? I sent updated ones, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm bringing those new ones out.
Everybody have a good weekend?
I had a decent weekend.
Awesome.
How was your weekend, Beta?
It was a little challenging, but I'm glad it's over.
Fair enough.
Work get to you?
No, just a little drama.
Oh.
People drama.
Oh man, I love drama when it's not mine to deal with. Like my wife's like, you want to hear about my alliance drama? And I'm like, let me go get the popcorn because it's not my alliance. Let's go. I just love it. And she tells me all about it. I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. My alliance doesn't do shit like that. We all just sit back and do our raids and get stuff done and enjoy Crucible. Like that's it.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I'm not into trolling. I'm not into drama. I think it's funny reading about it and stuff, but I just hate it when people get wrapped around the axle too much on that stuff. There's too many things in life that are too important to waste time on this stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Me and Doolam just filmed a video about people who think that envoys are cheaters because we have access to the test server. It's like, man, you guys are getting bent out of shape. We're putting in so much damn work to bring you these secrets, and you guys are mad at us? Like, it's kind of funny.
Oh, God. Yeah, don't get me started on that. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm a little hesitant to do this today simply because every time I do one of these things, like I go on mobile stream, I go in with the intent to just share some information. It's my perspective. It's based on my experience and my roster. And I always encourage people, you know, you got to look at your own roster and you adjust based on that, where your gameplay is at and all that. But the amount of trolling that goes on, you know, it's just absurd, you know, ranging from wild conspiracy theories to, you know, my favorite is, you know, that the player's voice movement that I've been involved with for a long time is just a Kraken-only movement. Honestly, as a Kraken in the game, which I hate this term, I don't need to spend the time doing the things that we do to help change things in the game. We could just live with the way it was, and it was actually better off for us than it is in many ways now. And so,
right. And the thing is, most of the people who are saying, "Oh, it's a Kraken run thing," they aren't entering to be a part of it. I doubt they're even a member of the server, let alone putting their hat in the ring to be a part and communicate, right? So I don't like it when people who aren't even like, if you're not registered to vote, quit bitching about the president. You know, like it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I mean, and then all these conspiracy theories, like my favorite ones recently were, I did a stream with mobile on my DD7 experiences, and, you know, people are hypothesizing the cost, for example, on how much it costs to run through it, and I can't get people to understand, you know, when you've played the game for 6 years, and when you've been at top alliances for a long time, you end up accumulating a lot of resources, so that, you know, like when level 100 dropped, for example, I had like 3 billion in gold. Right, so I didn't have to buy offers. I didn't have to go through and spend money on this stuff. So it's not saying I obviously didn't ever spend money, but it's just insane. I saw people saying that I spent 200K on Dark Dimension 7. It's not even a tenth of that. Not even 0.1% of that. It's just such an absurd number, you know.
It's so for those of you who are watching, do you have a dead currency in one of the stores? One of the stores where you just never buy anything.
Yep,
and then
100%.
Suddenly they put in a new character that's farmable in the store. You don't have to worry about it. You've got all that currency built up, and you just start acquiring those shards every time they appear, and you have that character in no time. And so it's the same way for beta. It's just everywhere throughout the game. He's kind of got it maxed out already, and so that, like, Scopely's never gonna get in front of players like beta. That's just, they're never gonna get in front of you so that you have to really grind or spend anymore, because you're always going to have an accumulation of most of the different things.
Exactly.
Except for the Crimson Gear, right? Crimson Gear came out, and that was probably about the only thing you really needed to start grinding for.
Yeah, but even that, I still had, I think, something close to 1 billion in gold when it started, and I had a bunch of core saved up, because one of the things people don't take into account, and I know I feel sorry or bad for my arena shard, so please, I hope I don't offend anybody there, but I've been sitting in rank 1 basically since Dormammu came out. So that's 500 cores a day I'm accumulating without having to do anything.
Yep.
Right, so when Diamonds came out, for example, people were like, oh, you know, you spent like 100K on Diamonds. No, not even close. I had like 500 or 600 Elite 7 orbs saved up. I just converted them, you know? So yeah, you're right. There is a factor as you're growing, but once you get to a mature point with your roster, you're just, like you said, you're just accumulating useless currency. And so any opportunity that you have that you can convert that into something else, you know, you try to take advantage of that. So
yeah, involuntary hoarding, it happens at the top. Beta, Ultimate Chaos is laughing at your forge. Only 690 here, really bringing down your numbers on this extreme.
Hey, I don't set the power levels on this stuff. So.
Yeah, you guys are gonna see a couple of diamonds on just a few of these tunes as we roll through. So we have Extreme BK in here.
Can you share your stream?
Oh, am I not sure? Oh, that's right. I came back. I left and came.
Sorry, I
always forget when we do these two in one day. I always forget when I come back in. So Beta just told you all the secret. Get in a whale alliance and you hoard more. That's it, Lord Richter. That's exactly what he meant. Yeah, you're not putting words in his mouth with that one. That's for sure. Okay.
No, it's absolutely true. Absolutely.
Extreme BK. Let's see. Raider, Skirmisher on Rogue, and the Fortifier on Black Knight. Were you tempted to change Black Knight's ISO at all for this room?
You know, I've wavered on 2 characters throughout Crucible, and that's Black Knight and Mephisto. Obviously, that's a different character, but we'll get it. And that's why I thought it'd be fun to go through this today to give people some future insight into things here. But the thing about Black Knight as a fortifier is he's going to constantly be buffing them back up, right? So that was kind of where I was heading with it. I normally do run him as a striker, but I found in going through Dark Dimension 7, for example, a fortifier was much better. I know that in this particular room, we've got the particular buffs geared towards Raider and Striker, but I think there's enough going on with what the other 4 characters are doing that anything that I could do to challenge somebody by keeping Black Knight engaged a lot longer was sort of the thought process behind it. And similarly, it's why I'm not putting Mephisto with Black Knight, or putting Scroll, Mephisto, and Black Knight all together, because I'm trying to spread out the risk for somebody as they're going through all 6 rooms.
Okay.
And exactly, it's the drain, as Lord Victor was saying, the drain that he's doing.
The drain gives him so much survivability. It's really nice.
I like it. I like it as is. I was thinking, man, I don't like having Gambit next to Black Knight, but then I'm looking at all your other choices, and it all makes sense. I mean, you can't have Forge next to him, you can't have Nightcrawler next to him. Rogue needs to be in a corner for her taunt. Yep. Like, it all makes sense.
And you don't want Gambit next to Rogue, so...
Yeah, so there you go. That's how it kind of has to be. All right, room 2 is the...
Any reason to have...
Any reason for what?
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say, on the Skirmisher on Rogue, any particular reason why you chose Skirmisher on her? Or?
To clear if somebody tries to AB her, to clear it.
You'd want
Raider.
You'd want Raider to clear the.
Oh, is it Raider? I
know you were trying to apply ability block with her ultimate.
Yeah, that's right. These rules, I
thought that was intentional, and I didn't think it was a bad thing. I mean, I kind of like Raider myself, so she clears it and doesn't, but at the same time, she can apply it. And you have Black Knight with the taunt first, and he's so big. Well, I guess your opponents might be as big also, or near as big. So this might not be such a big deal, but I'm thinking it's going to be tough to clear the taunt off of Black Knight in the first place. But
yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about maybe putting Rogue as a Raider to make sure that she doesn't get ability block, but that's about it.
That's a good idea. Honestly, as I make these changes, you always forget to do some of the ISO changes once you get these things set, so...
Or you forget to hit the lock button. That's a fun one, too.
I made mine all Raider, and then I was like, I should change that. And I'm like, no, you know what? It's been working good. Everybody Raider. It just works well that way, so I'm leaving it.
Yep.
All right, room 2 is the Pegasus team. We finally have some characters that aren't in Crimson gear. We have Tony and Rescue on opposite sides. Dormammu over here. I mean, it is what it is. Are they losing speed not being a 5-piece with Dormammu in here?
So the thought process here, I've been running it as straight Pegasus, and everybody knows if you got Bifrost on defense, then you're kind of hosed, but if you've got it on offense, then nobody seems to have issue with it. So the thought process here was putting Dorm in there. Maybe it's going to screw with someone's efficiency. I don't think it's going to stop it as a one-shot, but if it's causes more turn meter, that's ultimately the goal. Because again, the matchups that I get where I'm at, it really comes down to, in many cases, let me back up. I have 2 kind of opponents I run into. Those that clear reasonably well, and then it's a point efficiency game, right? Mm-hmm. So I might win by maybe 5 points or 10 points. That's how close it can generally be. And then there's another group that just don't pick the right counters, and then they sort of struggle through on most of the rooms here. So for me, this is purely an efficiency thing. I have not done this before. I've been running it as the straight Pegasus, but I thought, you know what, let's try mucking with it this week a little bit and see.
Burnsy says that they're going to lose energy without the 5-piece, but they still get their ridiculous speed on spawn. I don't remember.
Well, they get less speed. They get, let's see, it's like 15% less speed. So Kestrel's still going to be like, 300 speed or something like that.
Okay, so they're still going first then, is what you're telling me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they should.
All right, and Dark Knight won't get to rewind, but that's okay. He never seems to get to that turn anyway. He's so slow compared to everything else that's going on in this room.
Who's Dark Knight?
Dark Hawk. I keep calling him Dark Knight for some reason. I don't know why.
Dark Knight Rises.
That's okay. We keep calling it Black Knight. No, Black Order. We keep calling it Dark Order and Blackhold lately.
Yeah.
Blackhold. Okay.
Somebody's gonna get in trouble for that. Chat wants to know why Striker on Dorm and Raider on Kestrel. Now, I like my Raider as a Kestrel, and I like Dorm as a Striker or a Raider. Hell, even a Skirmisher works sometimes too. Why you're choosing for those?
For Dorm, I like him as a striker purely for the damage that he's doing. And in Kestrel, I used to have her as a striker, but we found, actually, I think since the introduction of Crucible, that she's much better as a Raider.
I think so too. I think with her special being unblockable, she just does so much damage on it. You can wipe people off the map with that special.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and ever since she got her reworks, you know, oftentimes you watch people go in and she just obliterates the character.
a raider should always be a kestrel. Once again, I see no reason to make any changes. You even made rescue a fortifier so she can't be killed as easily. I like that. I like that for this room because that is the thing. You've got to either ability block her or, well, ability block her with trauma because it like cleanses or something.
Yep.
So you got to trauma ability block or trauma stun, or you have to kill her, and that makes it really tough. So I even like that extra points there. We'll see how Dormammu changes this up. You're just looking to throw a wrench in for efficiency, and I think it's fine.
Yep, exactly.
Another option you could throw in here too is Extreme with Rogue. And then the only thing that can beat that without Super Scroll is Pegasus. So it won't put you in a bind, but it can very much put your opponents in a bind very quickly.
If they don't happen to have that on offense.
Because if they're running Pegasus on defense, they have to Super Scroll it or Superior 6 it or Cabal, which any of those are a good win for you if they're not using that elsewhere.
Yep, makes sense.
Sorry to butt in. I just wanted to thank everyone for having a look at my squad roster.
Yeah, no problem, FaZe. Thanks for bringing it to us, man. You can hang out and hang out with us here if you want. I don't care. Room 3, the aggroed room. We've already got 4/5 of the Spider Society with our boy Mephisto. Now, this isn't a room you're gonna be. So, all the people who are gonna be watching in the video are gonna be going, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do that. But Beta, tell us what this is, what's happening, and how it's working.
So the first couple weeks of Crucible, since I've had Mephisto, I've sort of been moving him around, right? So trying him with Extreme, trying him with Secret Defenders, and just sort of seeing what people are going through and their experiences there. He is not that character that people are going to be frustrated that they just can't flat out clear, right? So you can, similar to Black Knight, you can exhaust Black Knight, come back in. So you can sack it and come back in. Similar with that, Mephisto is kind of that way. You're not going to one-shot a squad that Mephisto's in, but you're going to generally, as a rule, be able to two-shot it. So the thought was, since I'm already getting 2 shots on him anyway, this room is the one that when a character gets taunt, they get offense up. His first move throws taunt out on everybody. So the thought was the Spider Society team is kind of fast, especially Noir. And since people are already having to sack this anyway, let's put it into a room that they're probably going to underestimate. They're not going to have experience with these characters yet. So that was sort of the thought process behind it. Didn't do it last week, so I have no experience with how it works yet or not. We'll see how it goes this week. Ironically, I don't know if I'll get him this week, but Dorky's in my round this week, so I wanted to give him, if we matched,
Take him down.
some food to think about.
Oh God, yes.
Okay, so the idea is Mephisto turn 1 puts taunt on his own team.
Yes.
They all get offense up because of the room rules, and then they all
Yes.
start assisting. Will they assist Mephisto on his first move then? Is that the
I
order of
don't
operations?
know. I don't know order-wise if they'll assist him because he has to do his first turn to put the taunt on. It's not a passive ability. So I'm not 100% sure that they'll do that. But you've got both Noir and him going right off the bat. And
Right,
to
Noir's going to
Richter's
follow him up
comment,
right after that. So, what's
Yeah.
what's his first move that applies taunt? I'm looking here. And
it should be the. Let me bring up his kit.
I'm looking at his ultimate.
Empowered something. It's I think it's always
So
empowered.
his ultimate prevents. It's his special. I think that puts up the taunt. Yeah. If this character has any hero allies, apply taunt for 2 turns to all hero allies.
Okay, that's it on his special. Now, this is the aggroed room, so we don't have to worry. He is going to use a special turn 1.
Well, technically it's 2.
Technically, it's turn 2. He's going to use his pact on. He's going to use his ultimate pact on turn 1, and then turn 2, he's
Right,
going to
so
use the
first-
Hellfire Blast. And
Right, so
that
first
will
turn he's going to exhaust everybody, and then second turn he's going to put taunt up on my side.
taunt up on your side, and that's going to happen after he attacks. So then whoever goes next, everybody's going to be assisting, except for him, because he won't have taunt over himself, right?
Correct.
But will
Yeah.
it opens up though?
Sorry, I haven't been reading Mephisto's kit because I'm like, 8-9 months away from ever even thinking about using him. All right, that is really cool. So it's going to go Pact first, then he's going to put Taunt over all of them, and then I think Noir starts taking a turn, and everybody is going to be assisting with Noir.
Correct.
And you went Raider on everybody because they have kits that work well with Raider. I think this is an amazing little idea here for Aggroed. I think it's a great room for Aggroed with the Taunt happening above everybody and Noir being such a fast character.
Yeah, that was the thought behind it. And again, like I said, it didn't seem to matter which room I put Mephisto in. The people that knew how to sort of deal with it were still two-shotting it anyway. So I'd rather complicate the other rooms as much as we can and leave him with something like this.
Mm-hmm. I think this is still going to be super scary to come up against. If I saw something like this at my level, I would be like, I don't even know. I'm gonna sack it, come back in, forget it. I'm not even gonna try.
I would just look at this and go, oh, my opponent only has 5 rooms on defense. That's fun.
Yeah,
this
look at
room
that.
just doesn't exist. Huh, look at that.
Okay, so not something many people can do, but a crazy cool idea. I like the whole taunt thing. That's going to be fun to talk about. And then we decided to go with Raider for everybody. That's because the kits work so well with Raider, and he'll be a striker, getting some double taps off of his basic, which carves people's head. It's a perma heal block on his basic, which is amazing. All right. Yep. Room 4 is Black Order with Vulture. Biggest Black Order I've seen in a minute. And Vulture still outpaces them. Let's see. Unstable energy means that they get to open up with ults and do lots of rewinding going on here. Because I think Vulture's going to go first, especially if it's into heroes. And then rewind them, then Thanos is going to take his second turn. I think that's the big ultimate he's going to do on his second turn, maybe. And then, of course, Ebony Maw has his rewind health steal thing he does, I think.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, nothing new here. Nothing we haven't seen before, but this is just done at a much bigger level than anything I'm going to face. I don't see this where I'm at because there are still a lot of people that just didn't build their Black Order big enough to be better than other options, but I think it's a great way to fill this room.
Yeah, I mean, the other option, of course, is to do the Black Knight Superior 6 kind of combo here as well, but people have figured out how to beat that now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd much rather keep, for the people I face, having Superior 6 for offense is a much better option for me and my clearing.
Okay.
So
I need to flip with Vulture.
Flip
Flip
who?
who with Vulture?
Proxima.
You're getting clipped off on your front end there, up dog.
Do you think we need to swap Proxima and Vulture?
Trade places with them? Why would we need to swap
Just to
places?
protect Vulture a little bit from the splash damage.
I don't know.
from the Cold
And
Obsidian.
you can also trigger Thanos' passive if Proxima drops down, and he'll go even faster. Thanos will.
Oh, that's a good point. We could do a placement swap there.
Okay.
Updog
Just-
found a chink in the armor. It's all gonna collapse now.
And maybe Raider on Thanos too, but I don't know. That's a personal preference.
Food for thought for this one as well. Darkhold.
We could try it. I've got ISO 5 Raider on him as well.
Well, if you're not gonna change Thanos to Raider, I would change Cull Obsidian to a Raider, right? Because you've only got, well, I guess you got lots of vulnerables out on the field. I think this is fine with either way. But yeah, I like Thanos as a Raider also.
So Darkhold and Death Seed do really well into this. Just food for thought as well. Because I had the same thing, just a 1.4 million smaller, and it was getting like rolled by Death Seed and Darkhold, which a lot of people have been kind of throwing away Darkhold in 2 different places with the hybrid SD in 6. I don't know if you see that or not, but that's really common where we're at.
Yeah, I see it.
Do you? Okay, so that is nice, but I have seen Death Seed do pretty well here because Death Seed literally ults, blinds Vulture, Vulture he ults and misses, and then they could just tunnel down the Thanos pretty quickly. But I agree with you. Superior 6 needs to be on offense. That's a key offensive team.
Okay, Gamma Brad, the reason we have Cull in there over Corvus Glaive is because Cull's going to taunt, which screws things up, but more than that, he's going to counterattack every time either Ebony Maw or Thanos is attacked, and it turns out to be quite a bit of damage and kind of frustrating. And then Juicy says you should probably think about just running a full Black Order and keeping your Vulture to rewind for offense. I don't know if that interests you or not.
Yeah, I've bounced between that. Sort of depends on the week, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll talk about options in room 4, but once again, I'm not seeing anything too far off the mark here. And in 5, we put Quicksilver in place of Moondragon on the Infinity Watch. Once again, the biggest Infinity Watch I've ever seen. And of course, Quicksilver in the red, doing lots of damage, making the team a lot harder. It's still a team that gets beat. It's just Quicksilver makes it last longer, and sometimes you lose somebody because he gets going if he comes off the chain.
Is the future.
So I think it's...
Yeah, it all depends on what they're using too. If I run this in 3, for example, Wakanda has a reasonably easier time with it. In 5, Wakanda really has a struggle with normal IW, and if you put Quicksilver in here, I've seen more often than not people having to 2-shot it. Now, if you're going to use a different counter like APOC with Eternals or whatever, there's nothing you're going to do to stop that, or APOC Eternals and Spider-Man Big Time. Those are great counters for IW, but then that's great because then they're consuming those here.
Yep, that's a win for you.
Yep,
Staple and APOC
exactly.
here. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this isn't anything we haven't seen before. It's the thing to do, especially if you have a big Infinity Watch. It's a real good choice. And then in room 6, we have the Secret Defenders with MLF and Emma. This is another trick that you can use. You can also do Dormammu instead of Emma. You just need to make sure that you can't spread things off of MLF. So I think you want to trade places with Black Cat and Emma, don't we?
Yep.
To protect the MLF from that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You keep both of them in the back line. So when Emma inevitably dies way faster because her stats are old, she'll create an island for Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
But right now,
yeah. That's
and
right.
then and then I agree with Chad. I think MLF is a Raider also on this one. For more opportunities for Robbie to go into. I like MLF as a striker. I love her basic. That health steal is fantastic. But I would be... You've got 3 strikers and 2 skirmishers putting it out there, so I think somebody should be switched over to a Raider. And it ain't going to be Robbie.
This is the future.
Yeah, that's fair.
Unless...
your MLF is G19. For some reason, I thought she was like G16. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting choice to keep it G16. And then I realized...
Yeah, those little
No.
red rings we're not used to seeing yet.
Never mind. Yeah, the small rings really confuse me when it's G19. It just looks... They look smaller. I don't know why. The team just looks smaller when they have...
They do. I'm actually not a big fan of the red rings.
Okay, good. I'm not the only one. I feel like it just it's hidden by the character. You can't really tell. I don't know.
They just needed a little glow to shine off of them, widen it out a little bit, and it would be more noticeable. But they're so skinny.
Mm-hmm.
Gear tier 20 just can't come soon enough to solve this problem for us. That'll fix it, right? Everybody will be happy with that.
Let's not rush that out.
Yeah, let's shut your mouth there, Ron.
All right, real quick, let's go. We have the Extreme with Black Knight just to piss people off. It's good placement. We have Fortifier on there for the drain mechanic, keeping Black Knight alive and tough. We do want to change Rogue to a Raider so she can't be ability blocked, but Skirmisher isn't such a bad thing if you think you can get away with it. It's just that when she throws up that, when she does her special, things really go off the rails for your opponent if they aren't prepared for it. So that's something we could change to room 1, but we don't necessarily have to. In room 2, it's the Pegasus team. We're trying Dormammu in here to change things up against the Bifrost team. We don't have a lot of testing done on this yet, but anything's better than just the base Pegasus team, because it's a known quantity that Bifrost can beat that, and at Beta's level, I'm sure you're probably getting beat. I do like the Fortifier on Rescue. I'm going to point that out. And then we went Raider and Striker because reasons. And then over here on room 3, this is the really interesting one with Mephisto and the Spider Society. And we'll explain how Mephisto on his technically second turn will put the taunt on these two, and then they're going to start assisting Noir, really do some crazy damage and be a tough team that your opponent is going to likely just want to sack real fast to put the exhaust on Mephisto. Over in room 4, we have the Black Order with Vulture. A lot of chat was saying that we should just go a straight Black Order with Corvus Glaive instead of Vulture, that people are getting good results. That'll save your Vulture for offense. But this is a thing that people are also doing because you get to rewind on the opening maneuver with Vulture, and then you get Thanos' second turn, which rewinds, and then you get Ebony Maw's Health Steal rewind thing, and it can do some damage, but might be better to go full Black Order, or some people were saying Omega Red is another choice you could throw in here in place of Vulture. I don't know about Omega Red myself, but that's some things that we could do. And then Thanos might be better as a Raider. Corvus, or I'm not Corvus Glaive, Cull Obsidian, you could do a few different things, maybe even just make him a fortifier so he stays there with a taunt. What's up, Connect? Thank you for the raid. We're going over Beta Ray Bill's defense if you're wondering where all the diamonds came from. We're jewelry shopping on Defense Up today. We have Infinity Watch in room 5. This is a very common counter that we see. We have this big Quicksilver in here that causes a lot of problems. It can kill people if you underestimate it, but most of the time people are going to come in with, what do we say, APOC Superior 6, something like that?
APOC Eternals.
APOC Eternals, that was it. APOC Eternals. You could, yeah, APOC Eternals is what's going to wreck this in one, but it's just such a devastatingly good team. Nothing to be done changing it wise. I think everything's perfect on this. It's a good way to go. And then over here, we have the Secret Defenders in room 6 with MLF and Emma. You could also use Dormammu in place of Emma, but we do need to do a placement swap with Black Cat and Emma to protect the MLF. MLF does have a great basic, so she could stay a striker, but a lot of people might want to make her a raider so that we have lots of vulnerables for Robbie to go into, creating more bleeds and speeding Robbie up. Robbie being one of the primary targets on this team. You want him to get off as many turns as he can before his time ends. And then I'm kind of curious why we have Hard Light in the center. Shouldn't we have Hard Light in the corner?
No, that's the placement.
That is? Okay, so we just want to swap Black Cat and Emma. Why do we have Hard Light in the middle?
Because that's how it works. Because
you want to keep Morgan and Robbie at the opposite ends.
Yep,
I
you
see.
want Morgan and Robbie on the sides. Yeah.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. All right, I think I got it. Did I miss anything?
No, you're
okay. This is gonna be a pretty high rated defense right here. I mean,
if Beta Ray Bill doesn't get an A, who does?
Well, I mean, diamonds don't buy you an A, but boy, they
No.
sure make it look like a lot bigger A, doesn't it? Right?
I wasn't sure what to expect. We were talking about this before when we were making a video. I was curious to see, like, because you said you're not the biggest fan of Crucible, like sometimes yes, sometimes no. I was curious to see, like, if you had, like, what people have been running meta-wise, like how it changes and stuff like that. I was genuinely curious to see, like, your level of engagement when it comes to that.
That's why I think this room 3 is so much fun, because it's, I mean, obviously Mephisto makes it different, but it's also Spider Society, which we don't get a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of common things people are running. There's an occasional time I see somebody that does a very unique set of mixed meta. But generally, as a rule, people are running IW either in 3 or 5. They're generally running Extreme in 1 or 3. If they're doing it in 3, then oftentimes they're running some other combo of Unlimited X-Men in 1. Generally, as a rule, people are running Secret Defenders in 6 or in 3. So they might have some variations there depending on what they're doing. 4 tends to be a Black Order variant of some kind, or Superior 6 with Black Knight seems to be the favorite these days because people think it's not one-shottable. That's, and then 3, more often than not, I'm seeing people do Pegasus because they've realized that Bifrost, while it's a pain in the ass on defense for people because of the, inconsistency of using Pegasus against it is a problem. Hive Mind is inconsistent. Mirror Match is inconsistent. I think most people have just opted to go the direction of doing Pegasus there. That's kind of mostly what I'm seeing. This is the first bracket this week that I actually have somebody that does have a Mephisto in the bracket. Platypus is in my bracket this week, so we'll see how that matchup goes. But other than that, that's kind of what I've been seeing. And then, like I said earlier, I've been running into people that either really have great ideas in terms of what to use counter-wise, and they'll generally go through and maybe have a 2-shot on the extreme because of Black Knight, and they'll have a 2-shot on the Mephisto wherever he lies, but then they're really clean on most of the rest. But what I find in those cases is that their efficiency, again, because of the Gear 19 and the diamonds, not so much diamonds, more Gear 19, I think, helps in terms of bringing the efficiency down. So whereas I might get, an 80, what is it, 83, 60 something, they may fall back into the 50s or even in the high 40s.
I'm just curious, with your roster dripping with teal and diamonds, do you ever find there are some really old characters you're able to do and utilize for trick plays, like a shield security or something? I'm just really off the wall weird that most people just don't have the ability to build the character, but you find use out of it?
Yeah, I joke about this sometimes with people. Like Hand Sentry years ago used to be the one because of throwing everybody into stealth, right?
Hide the Toaster, yeah. I loved that one.
Yeah, yeah. The problem is even with buffing them up with teal, and there's no way in hell I'm going to put Crimson on any of those kind of characters, but even buffing them up, they're so out of date on their stats that you can wipe them out so fast that they're not even going to get to the abilities that you think are going to cause problems. Mm-hmm. And we don't have the luxury of being able to tweak their kits the way that the devs do when you go up against them in things like Dark Dimension, where I forgot which node it is, but you go in, there's like 5 shield troopers, for example, and they're just constantly pinging you. Every time you try to hit another character, they're all firing back. And you'd normally be going, oh, shield trooper, it's a trash tune. Not at the levels that they've tweaked them to. You know? So that if we had the ability to tweak their kits, maybe. But generally as a rule, no, most of that stuff's benched.
Ooh, maybe moments, huh? So have you ever thought about doing like 3 pre-taunt tanks with Noir and Mephisto, so that when Mephisto takes his first 2 turns, the pre-taunt tanks are assisting? I don't think they're going to do enough damage to matter, but I just
I've considered stuff like that, but again, you just don't have enough damage going on, and so that's some ideas that we used to do a few years ago, where you put like 2 high damage dealers surrounded by 3 tanks. At this level, I think it might look weird at first, but I think people are strong enough in terms of strategy in what to do to easily counter something like that. Mm-hmm. I think where it gets interesting is when people... I have not faced it, but we tend to help each other out in the Alliance. When people are doing their Crucible, if they need help, they're more than willing to ask for it. I know in a case last week, one of my Alliance mates ran into somebody that had some very mixed metas, and it really was a head scratcher. So I don't see that too often, but they did that opponent, I don't remember who it was, they did a really good job in messing it up to where you couldn't go in. Like, I think right now, if you looked at my defense, I don't think people are going to see a clear path, for example, to being able to use new warriors. Mm-hmm. And so that's what you need to do, is you need to try to find ways to eliminate a potential counter. MOE is kind of not so much running as a solid offense anymore. You're splitting it up, right? You're taking Kang and throwing him into Cabal, for example. So anything that you can do with these to break up a common counter is really what the goal is, what we're trying to do at this level.
All right, let's make a video. I'll be right back. What's up, YouTube? We're back. I'm probably still going to have to go to the VODs to get some stuff that we missed in the middle, but we're back. We're back.
Howdy. Throw creatine on 3. Anyway, you guys get the idea. That's been the biggest challenge. And we're back to those conversations again about gold and training mats and T4s and the other problem with it. Sorry, we're talking economic issues in the game. Okay. And the problem with economy, I always use this corollary for people that understand the tech industry at all. When you look at the life cycle of computers, for example, there are 4 components in a computer that constantly run into brick walls. So first is the CPU, the processor. So the brains of the computer, at a certain point, it's not fast enough to keep up anymore, so manufacturers come out with faster processors. We've all been through this. This is why we upgrade computers every 2 years or 5 years, whatever. But once they solve the CPU, then all of a sudden memory becomes an issue. We don't have enough memory in our computers, so now they come up with condensed memory that can hold more capacity. Yeah, exactly. Shiro knows it very well. It's the CPU, it's RAM. Actually, it's not GPU that I talk about, though. It's CPU, RAM, storage, and network. Those are the 4 things that we constantly life cycle through, where we constantly hit walls. And when you solve one, you create a problem with the next thing. So you solve the CPU, now memory is a problem. You solve memory, and now storage is a problem. You solve storage, and now network is a problem. And as soon as you solve network, the processor is the problem again. And that's the challenge with the economy here, is when you do it this way, you solve gold, training mats is a problem. You solve training mats, T4s is a problem. You solve T4s, now gear is a problem. You solve gear, guess what? We're back to gold is a problem again. And so you're constantly chasing your tail here. So I would not want to do this as a living.
I'm just looking over my roster, thinking about all the diamonds I could be adding here. Like, it's just, there's just so many characters that I remember seeing your Kree Reaper at like 427,000 with 3 diamonds, and I was just like, wow, do I even have, like, how many characters do I have over 427? And
yeah, and that stuff becomes silly, right? Because you talk about excess resources after a while. I know we all deal with this issue, and we're not getting anywhere with the company over it. I know when we got them to flatten the Red Star economy, which they went way further than we were expecting them to go. It's not just been flattened; it's been obliterated. Now, a lot of people are having a huge amount of excesses on silver promo credits, right? And it's like, what can you do with that? And we cannot get some traction in terms of some sort of trade up, trade in, even if it's an abysmal trade rate, right? Like you trade, 100 silver promos for 1 gold. It's going to sound horrible, but at least you can do something. With it. Yeah. But I will say, from my perspective, this is not an official statement, from my perspective, they will always have a concern because of something that happened a long time ago. I vaguely remember this, but there was a period of time where people ran out of blue gear. This was a long time ago. And there was no way to farm for it. There was no way to... That was
brutal.
Right? And so people would unlock characters and then be pissed because you couldn't level them up. Right? And so because of that, I think that they're taking a cautionary position that says, well, if we let somebody bleed out a resource, then they're going to get angry about not having that resource anymore. And we're all kind of like, well, but that's our problem, right? If we're stupid enough to bleed it out and not manage that, well, this is a resource management game, then you can't parent everybody. That befalls on us to make sure we manage that. And that's number 1 point. Number 2 is we don't have a situation like we did back then where there aren't ways to still earn it. So if I bleed it out, I'll earn it. Maybe it takes time, right? It's not going to be immediate, but it's my problem, and I'll just have to farm it until I get back whatever I need. So those are the big challenges about stuff like that, which is why I know this question comes up a lot on the voice movement server about, can we get them to do something about these excess resource pools? We've brought it up many, many, many times. It's just they're not willing to address it because of these concerns right now.
Well, personally, I just feel that there's more important things for them to be spending their time on. It's something I would like, but I think it's like 5th or 6th on my to-do list, rather than 2nd or 3rd even. So it doesn't really bother me. I've played lots of other games that end up having just a dead currency that just overflows and you can't do anything with it. And and to fix that, to make it so you can convert stuff, that's not like an easy fix. They have to implement some crazy stuff and then make sure it balances well with the economy, because they put something in place and they forget something. The community is going to find that thing that they forget, and they're going to just completely wreck the economy with whatever it is that they missed. So it has to be perfect, and it has to be complicated, that the way in which they implement it. It's not going to be like, oh, we'll just make a new orb or something. Like, there's got to be a system in place, and that requires a lot of things happening. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I agree with you wholeheartedly that in terms of priority,
for me, the priority is game stability.
Absolutely.
Without fail, right? So like we had
Bring our open all back and not crash the damn game.
Yeah, so we had a war, fortunately it was a punch-down war recently, where we ended up with 4 losses using Underworld because it kept freezing.
Right?
And so, you know, to me, that is more important right now, is to get stability, to get these bugs, and it was not a costume issue, it was not a T-pose issue. They're still looking into it right now, but I've heard from numbers of alliances that are having that issue right now. And to me, functionality that breaks like that is #1 priority, right? That's the worst thing you can do, is have people play a game that you lose, not because of what you did, but because of mechanics of the game.
Yeah, because they can't play your game, literally.
And,
exactly.
And that's the thing. Anybody who starts playing the game and your game crashes, you know that's not right. Like, you don't have to be tuned in to Twitch and YouTube to know that a game crashing shouldn't happen. Now, if you're not sure why Room 4 is working the way it works, or how come Spider Society works better on offense than defense in Room 2, that's because of little tiny subtleties in the way that that code is written, or little tiny bugs in there. A lot of people may not even notice that. When the game crashes, you notice that.
Yep, exactly. Well, and Shiro brought up a good point, which is, we get this question all the time. Trust me, I'm equally as frustrated about us losing the open all button on orbs, right? And it's taking them a long time to remedy that, and I'm fascinated why we didn't have this as a problem all this time that we've had that functionality, that it really took that big compensation package that rolled out to really trigger the servers to basically come grinding to their knees, and it was just because there were so many players opening orbs all at the same time that it really brought that issue to light. But what I wanted to offer as an interesting side note to that is, we get questions about this all the time. When is that coming back? And of course, we'd love to have it back. But I also get people asking, why don't we have a sim all button for Blitz? And I would offer 2 perspectives about that. One is, look at what's happening with the open all button.
Right.
So if we're already having server issues because of everybody doing that, imagine if we had a sim all that everybody was doing for Blitz
all the time.
It's gonna crash
Even if
the
it was
server.
sim 10 at a time, like if it was chunk simming, it still would be just as bad.
Yeah, exactly. And the other perspective, which has nothing to do with the technology, that I would throw out there that I don't think people think about, which is, this is one of those, be careful what you ask for. I will use myself as an example. I hate Blitz. I know there's others like me, but I absolutely hate Blitz, to the point where I do my 4 hits in RTA. I know people hate RTA even more. I actually prefer to just do my 4 hits in RTA and call it a day. And I just hate Blitz that much. But if you give people a sim all, you're going to bring back players that hate Blitz. Like, a lot of the top endgame players don't really Blitz much anymore. All of a sudden now they're going to be in the pool of Blitz. And so for those people that are blitzing for legitimate reasons, they're trying to earn character shards or whatever, you're going to mess it up for them. You're going to bring players back in that really aren't even participating much in that. And I would hate to see that happen.
It's the problem of a solution creating another problem, right? Because now you need to have different tiers of Blitz so that everybody's competing with similar levels of blitzers. Whereas if everybody, you're diluting the pool now with all these people coming back and hitting sim all and getting in 7 or 8 rotations a day because it's only a button click. So why not?
Yep.
Well,
exactly.
we've been asking for that for a while. We've been asking for a champions bracket for Blitz for the longest time, so that when a character who no one needs anymore is being released via Blitz, right? Like Namor's in the Blitz. Nobody late game needs that, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a Blitz events going on, so my dumbass is doing 8 rotations a day, and I'm taking a top 100 spot from some, level 65 who's trying to get, Namor unlocked when I don't need the shards. Put me in a champions bracket just like we did with Scourges, so I don't take that spot away from somebody, and I can get some resources that actually mean something to me, like gold, training mats, some the newest gear. That'd be cool. But if not, I'm just taking it away from other players, and then it's disheveling because a level 65 who just got Sim Blitz is ranked 160,000th, and they're like, I just blitzed my absolute tail off. This sucks.
Yep.
And,
yep.
and they don't understand why.
Do you guys think that Tower was an attempt to replace Blitz, like to come up with a game mode that they could monetize and replace Blitz with?
I don't know if it was a mode to replace Blitz. I know for me as a player, I actually prefer Tower mode over Blitz because I feel like I'm solving a puzzle as opposed to just button push, button push, button push, button push, right?
Yeah.
So I think all the Tower modes are fascinating and fun. I prefer Kiln now because there's no leaderboard associated. That I wish they would do that on the others. Because when people and like when the CCs put out content of how do you beat these floors, nothing drives me more nuts than when they do it when there's a leaderboard event behind it, because that just pushes people to have to get into efficiency issues on how they manage their hits on tower, or same thing on scourges, for example. So I like Kiln because it's a milestone driven thing, and you're done, one and done. If you can get through as many floors as you can, you get as many rewards as you are, and you don't have to keep replaying it if you don't want to. That's sort of my preference. But in terms of replacing Blitz, I hope that they do at some point. I mean, as long as they give an alternative method for people
Blitz
to earn
at
the
some
things.
point, right? Because when our rosters get so big that we have to do 75, 80, 90 teams in a rotation, even if you're simming each of those, it's still taking you too long to do a rotation. But at some point, they've got to do something.
Yeah, and I know one of the things that they measure, and they're not unique, all game companies do this, is time in game, right? The more time I can keep people engaged, the more likely you are to buy an offer, which is really what drives behind it. To me, Blitz is the least effective quality time in game. So I don't see how that would contribute to somebody wanting to go buy offers, unless the offer happened to be, this is how you can, auto Blitz instead of having to do 50 hits, I
think the only thing is there's so many different facets of the game that's integrated into Blitz, especially for newer players, earning shards, the different events that tie into it. And if they replace Blitz, they have to figure out ways that all those loose threads have to tie back into something.
Yep, exactly. It's similar to when we pushed really hard because a lot of the community was feeling frustrated about the gold spending events. So when we got them to agree to lessen the number of those that are going on, then all of a sudden people were like, well, wait, how do we earn gold now? So the problem is they do listen. That's the good thing but then they don't quickly go, all right, if we're taking this away from here, we need to make sure we inject it somewhere else so that the net is the same or better. We don't want to go backwards. And that's one of the biggest challenges. But back to the point about in terms of challenger level Blitz versus normal Blitz or whatever, I wish they would do that also on events, because one of the things that we commonly hear about, and I understand the point, I'm not negative about why people make this comment, the frustration of like the free-to-play community of not being able to complete all the milestones in an event. That's obviously done on purpose, right? There's a portion of it that they have in their mind that people should be able to achieve, and then the rest is for the spenders.
They're trying to influence people to spend money.
I wish they would and I know I'm probably against the norm in terms of their perspective. I wish they would just separate the two, right? So let somebody, because I think people just want to feel a sense of accomplishment too, not see 4 milestones that are completely unattainable. So
even if they put a graphical change on it so that milestone 16 had a fancy banner around it that was some kind of a finish line, and then the rest below that were labeled as bonus, people would feel like they hit the mark then, and if you got some of those bonuses, it was bonus. But it does feel like I'm never able to complete this. I'm always falling short of the end.
Exactly.
So you're talking about like almost like a premium banner around like the split between possible free to play and have to buy an offer kind of level? Is that what you're kind of trying to say?
Just like at milestone 16, there would be some sort of a graphical line right here in between. And it just showed that we expect free to play to get to 16 and everything else is bonus for spenders. That you could just visually see that, and it would be the optics that, okay, this is the finish line, this is all bonus stuff. And people wouldn't feel so bad about being unable to complete those things. It's similar with those showcase events where you can't get into them unless you purchase the characters and purchase them at higher and higher stars to get in there. I mean, we're understanding that this is just the world we live in, But, you know, people come to the game and they're like, well, that sucks. That's obviously pay to play. It's not even pay to win. It's pay to, I don't have access to this unless I pay to get in. And it doesn't feel so good, but I'm okay with it. It's just, they could easily just put in some graphical banner here that just visually shows you made it to milestone 16. That's where you're expected to get. Everything else is bonus.
Yeah, no, I agree. If they segregate, you know, one idea was to just completely do two different events, or based on levels, do two different types of events. But that idea even I think would help too, because I think one of the questions that always comes up, or the frustration or the comments that I always see, is people are like, "Oh, Scopely's just making it harder and harder and harder to get to these levels." I don't know that they are. I think that they need to basically help people understand that this is how we modeled it, that we believe an engaged free-to-play player will hit these levels. And so I like, with your idea, I like that, because then they can clearly demonstrate this is the expectation, and then beyond that, you know, this is how you get there.
Unfortunately, I don't think Scopely understands that transparency would be a very good thing and something that people appreciate. Like the transparency of being able to show
I think
their
the
intention behind things.
The transparency only applies to the 10% of highly engaged players, and we'd love it. Although a lot of those players are their biggest spenders too, so maybe.
Well, what you're
But
saying is
if
they had
the confusion that they intentionally implement by making things very complicated so we miss stuff and need a spreadsheet to figure it out, I think that makes them money with the less engaged portions of their player base. That's my guess, because why else would you keep doing it?
I think, though, honestly, I think part of this is our fault as players too, right? So I think that in the earlier days, the really early days, I think they were more transparent, and they got a lot of negativity as a result of it, and they recoiled. And so they became very protected after that, because it doesn't matter. It's the same thing like we were talking about earlier. Whatever I say on stream, people are going to, you know, react or respond whatever way they do, and there will be negative comments. I think that's the similar problem that they went through. And so they went through this phase of being transparent. They recoiled back because of the negativity. It's taken them a long time to feel comfortable again, but we've got them being more transparent now. Now the problem is we need to get them to write better communications.
Because that spotlight communication pissed off a lot of people, and if it was said the right way, I think the spotlight would have gone over a lot better.
Exactly. Or the Age of X communications. Those weren't done very well.
Terrible.
Right?
That was terrible.
So.
And we told them, I don't know what you guys were saying over Player's Voice, but we were telling them the Envoy server exactly what happened. We mapped it all out. This is exactly what's going to happen when you go live with this. And they said, well, we're going live with it no matter what. They went live with it, and now they're at exactly what we told them happened.
You're telling me there's a new carrot right when the door to this carrot just opened, and I'm 3 miles away, and you're going to be like, yeah, this is a great idea. Dude, this is going to make people go, fuck it, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm not even close to this carrot, and you're already putting another one.
And we didn't understand that it wasn't opening a door to that. It was opening a door to the story of that carrot, you know?
Right, exactly. Exactly. And that's the problem, is where their communications aren't really helping. But I'd rather have them, honestly, I would rather have them do this than be recoiled. So at least we're getting something out, and then we, UI, the other CCs, the other members of the movement, well, then we can at least have a conversation about it and help try to bring some clarity to it. Obviously, the better answer is that we get the communications better, which is what we're all pushing towards. But like you mentioned, the showcase, we didn't even know about that one. We chewed them out about that. It's like, I'm not saying you have to get our approval on stuff, but it behooves you to run it by us real quick, because we can give you a sounding board to show you where things need to be better communicated. And there were so many things in that could have been done very simply that would have made a lot of clarity to the community.
So
and I know you guys were...
Go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
No, all I was gonna say was I know you guys also were in the same boat in sort of hearing about it more after the fact than before, and that puts us all in a predicament, because we all do want to help.
Right.
So,
did you guys get any word on it? Because we got word like an hour before it went live.
our word came from you guys putting it out.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's fun. That's good. That's exhilarating.
Hey, Juicy, can our alliance spend 15,000 ISOs in the next 32 minutes and get this? Because I'd love some more L4 training mats. I really would. If we can rally the alliance, I'll spend the 100 core refresh.
14,000? I doubt it, bud.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. Something that somebody in chat was saying on Earthlings Needed, the banner has dark promo credits, and there's no dark promo credits in the milestones at all.
Scroll all the way down.
All the way down.
I think they're. Oh yeah, the other one had dark promos. Had like 100 dark promos. The ISO one.
Yeah, gold and silver. That's it. There's no DPCs in here, and they have it in the banner, which is kind of BS.
You want to see another funny one that's off? Go to Dark Dimension 7's banner screen.
I was just over there dicking around in the Epic campaigns. Okay, Dark Dimension 7, you want me to go into it?
No. Yeah, that's fine right there. What do you see on that screen there? You see Mephisto and... No, go back. Right there. What do you see on that banner there?
The 4 red star?
You don't earn 4 red star. You earn 3 on first run and 5 on second run.
Yeah, this is the first Dark Dimension that they've given 5 red stars for a Dark Dimension character too, which I thought was.
You're talking about this right here with this banner.
That right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed you have 5 red stars on your Mephisto, so I guess they like you better than us because I'll probably be the guy who gets a 4 red on Mephisto.
No, you get 3 first round, you get 5 second.
See, Beta's on the inside, guys. They're giving him 5 red stars. We're only gonna get 4 us peons down here.
Yep.
Great, thanks. No, now you're gonna cause more trolling. Thanks.
Hey, run! Save it for part 2 of our video on how envoys cheat.
That's
Come
right.
on, man.
That's right. Part 2.
There you go.
Beta, the trick is just
and
don't.
now Krakens get extra perks. Yeah.
Just don't read the comments. Don't read what's in your own server. Like, I very rarely visit. The only reason I ever go into my own Discord server is so that I can join this voice channel. Otherwise, my mods deal with everything. I never read anything unless somebody pings me or something. And then you don't read the comments in any videos. You just have to go without. Because the people who are truly engaged and understand, they've already heard our answers. You know, like the video that me and Dula made about cheaters in the Envoy server because we have early access. Everybody already knows the answers to those questions. There's just some trolly people who don't really get engaged. It's like people who talk about Krakens running the player's voice movement. They're probably not in the server most of the time, and then they don't take part in the voting to see who's going to be the next, council member. They just want to sit on the outside and throw shade at people, and you just can't let that do you.
Well, my funny one was I was on mobiles talking about DD7 experience, and I started it out with a comment, and I regret bringing this comment up because somebody clearly did not understand the intent of the comment. I said doing DD7 was kind of like planning a wedding for a year, and then the day arrives, and then all of a sudden it's over. And we've all done this, right? Where we go through activities where there's a lot of planning, a lot of mental preparation that went into
stress,
whatever.
A lot of excitement.
And then all of a sudden, when you're in the throes of it, it's kind of surreal, and then it ends really fast, and you're kind of like, "Wait, what happened? It's over already."
Yeah.
But then the comments, people launched off on that whole analogy. I'm like, it's an analogy. I didn't literally mean that. So one guy said, "Oh, see, clearly Beta had inside knowledge of DD7 for a year."
What?
Absolutely, you did.
I thought they were gonna make fun of you saying that you got married and you didn't appreciate your wife after the wedding was over, or some joke like that,
Which would be hilarious, right? And so I get that, but immediately somebody goes to conspiracy theory, right? Or I'm a Scopely employee. That's another one of my favorite ones recently. And so there was a small group of people that were just launching off on that comment. And there was somebody else that made some funny, snarky comments related to that. But I'm like, okay, you clearly missed the point. I didn't literally prep for this for a year. Although you could argue that everything we do every day preps us for some future thing. We just don't have knowledge of what's coming. But I was just like, God, you missed it. The whole point of what I was saying was that it came and went really fast. That was my feelings about it,
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Beta, the reason that didn't land is because you didn't make it some kind of sex joke. Have you met this community?
It's got to be something juvenile perverted for people to really enjoy it,
Yeah, you're probably right on that front, that's for sure.
All right, gentlemen, you guys are welcome to stay in the voice channel as long as you want, but I'm going to wrap up stream and send it somewhere else because I got some things to do. I'm already 15 minutes over. Luckily, my kids are already home.
Beta, thank you for letting us look at your roster as well for the defense up. That was a very fun experience. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
that's gonna make for a great video.
Yep, that was
splash
very
your
cool.
name around on the thumbnail, and it'll be pretty good. I'm gonna send you guys some Mobile Gamer, and so you guys can go have fun and say hi to him.
I feel like people have an unrealistic expectation that people like you just kind of swing your wallet around and go, "I'm gonna beat everybody." Like, no, they use their brains too. They play the game. They have fun.
Yeah, you know,
Haven't
there
you
was
been
some
around since the
comments.
beginning?
There, hold on, ask me that again in a second. There was some comments out there, and I really tried to ignore it, where people were like, I have no skill. It's pure wallet. I'm like,
No.
Whatever.
Not in the slightest. With
You
the
got a
conversations you and I
solid
have had,
grade
yeah.
on your defense today. Those were some solid teams you had in there, and you even understood when you were stepping outside of the norm, trying differently. You understood what the actual normal and probably the best defense is, but you want to try something different to throw people off, and you understood all that. Yeah, it's not wallet here. But how long have you been playing?
I think I started about 3 or 4 months after launch.
Okay, so almost the same time I did then. Okay.
Go check your reel. That'll give you the exact date.
Yeah, there you go. Check the reel.
I don't even know if I can access it anymore. I can tell you the number of days played though. I'm
And
at
the reel stopped on the 17th.
2084. It's the number
Ooh.
of days played.
Yeah, you're an OG.
Oh, all right.
You're a real OG. Damn.
All right, everybody, have fun at Mobile Gamers stream. And for you guys in the voice chat, I'm going to jump out of here, so I'll see you later.
Peace.
Bye, guys.
Sounds good. Thanks.